God has seen it, has seen the suffering of God's people, those in bondage in Egypt and working as slave labor. Their masters are treating them in ways that are dehumanizing, inhumane, inflicting humiliations, deprivations, and physical blows innumerable. The Egyptians and Pharaoh do not regard their siblings in God's creation as siblings. Rather, they see them as tools, the gears of cheap labor to build the temples and structures to add to the grand hubris of Pharaoh. This is not what God created God's people for. This is certainly not the land of milk and honey promised to Abraham and Abraham's ancestors. This is not the mysterious workings of God's providence and compassion. Now, how to work through the mechanisms of this time-bound world? God's wonder-working is always looking for partners. Sarah and Hagar, Rebecca and Joseph. And again, a partner is needed. This one, this Moses, of the blood of the clan of Israel, great-great-grandson of Jacob, yet also the adopted child of the daughter of Pharaoh. His history is of crossing boundaries and borders, of intersectionality and cultural complexity that can make for the leadership that God needs in this particular moment. Someone who knows Egypt and its ways, speaks its language, has spent time in the courts of the powerful, and yet someone in whose blood is the story of God's promises to all the clans of Israel, to the ancestors of Noah and Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. To boot, Moses has been bold enough to break the edicts of Egypt already. He has already once killed an Egyptian taskmaster when he had pity on the person that was being beaten by him. And for this reason, he had to flee Egypt and now is living in Midian with his father-in-law, tending sheep. He has already seen suffering. He has already responded to it. Moses has the capacity to see. And hence this plan captures Moses' attention, something not too enormous to frighten or to attract the attention of others, rather something somewhat subtle, something that will evoke Moses' curiosity. The burning bush, nothing others were noticed, just this bush near Moses on the far side of the wilderness near Mount Horeb. Moses sees it and says, I must go see this marvelous sight. Why is this bush not being consumed? Moses' curiosity further qualifies him in God's estimation. For curiosity is a form of wisdom seeking. combining that with the passive ability to simply see. And then the curiosity that leads to deeper inquiry. Why would this bush be afire? Why does the fire function so uniquely? In this way, God draws Moses from passive seeing into active seeing. Moses is in a place of holiness and sees in the bush God's face. Still, it is too much. Moses turns his face away. Alas, God having been seen, that cannot be undone. And it is a transparency. In seeing God, Moses sees what God sees God's people. God becomes a lens through which the suffering of the people is brought into high relief, a view that cannot be ignored even for all of Moses turning his face away. The seeing of God, then, is not celestial and otherworldly. Seeing God is seeing humanity through the refining lens of God's compassionate heart. God being seen is humanity being seen. God being seen is the opening of compassion. It is the awareness of our intertwined fates. It is the knowledge of the essential unity of creation. The vision created through this God lens is holy, but not for its otherworldliness, rather for its view to our essential createdness. A view that translates the depths, the essential being, the unifying love of the divine. Holiness is seeing the human community through God's eyes. The holiness we come to seek in this quiet space, this sanctuary, week after week, it is not something apart from our lives. It is, in fact, the essence of our lives. It is not an escape to be here. It is a profound re-engagement. It is not a place for me. It is rather room to relinquish control so that we can make ourselves available for others. It is not a time for self-fulfillment. It is a time to be filled with God's vision of humanity and our call to see as God has seen it and to serve that humanity as God has asked us to partner with God throughout history in this service. The rabbinic understanding of the name of Yahweh, I am that I am, I will be what I will be, is partnered with this idea of I am and I am always with you. The God who has seen us and whom we seek to see is with us. Seeing God is seeing all of us. The end and the delight of seeing God is that we are partners with God and we are not alone. We have each other. God is with us.